Андрюха где? Там девушки вижу. А что за клоуны?
Good afternoon. I'm Lisa Kaminsky, the Assistant Dean and Director of the International Executive MBA program. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the Interim Dean of the McDonough School of Business, Dr. Rina Agarwal.
Associate Dean of the Graduate School, Jean Schaefer, Registrar Peers, distinguished guests, members of the faculty, members of the graduating class, ladies and gentlemen, and remain standing for the invocation delivered by Father Philip Burrows of the Society of Jesus and Vice President for Mission and Ministry.
Let us pray. Loving God, we gather this afternoon in joy and in gratitude as we celebrate the achievements of our 2005 IEMBA graduates. Over the past 18 months, they have formed a supportive and challenging community where they have studied and engaged the realities of international business. They have developed new professional skills by working together to address the needs and develop the possibilities of our world. And they have juggled the responsibilities of family, work, and study to further their goals and expand their worldview. And in all this, they have been guided and served by professional and inspiring educators. We gather this afternoon to honor the hard work and creativity of our graduates.
President and directors of the College of Georgetown within the District of Columbia to admit any of the students belonging to said college or other persons meriting academical honors to any degree in the faculties, arts, sciences, and liberal professions to which persons are usually admitted in other colleges or universities of the United States, and to issue in an appropriate form the diplomas or certificates which may be requisite to testify to the admission of such degree. Signed, Langdon Chiefs, Speaker of the House of Representatives. John Gaillard, President Pro Tem of the Senate. Approved. March 1st, 1815, James Madison.
Each IEMBA class is given the opportunity to decide whether or not it will elect faculty and student speakers for this ceremony. The class of 2005 has chosen to both offer remarks on this momentous occasion. It gives me great pleasure to call forward our student speaker this year, Daniel Burkhan, who will then Dan will then introduce the faculty speaker at the conclusion of his remarks. Come on, Dan.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, classmates and friends. A warm welcome to our family and friends that are attending with us today. Good afternoon, to all members of the faculty and administration. I'm really honored to have the opportunity to speak before you one last time on this great occasion. I promise not to be a major obstacle between you and our champagne reception. I want to take a few moments to pay tribute to those people that have made this experience for us really so memorable. It seems like only weeks ago that we first met at the Boulder Center for opening residency. I'm sure our family wouldn't agree, but to us it's gone by pretty quickly. We came away from the Boulder Center with a few key understandings that would take us throughout the course of the program. One, we learned it would take teamwork, grueling hours, and perseverance to get through this program. We learned that Terry could actually give an accounting lecture that was enjoyable. And we learned that Paul had some unresolved issues with his brother Timmy that could serve. It's very difficult to be a professor in an executive MBA program. It's not for everyone. We have the dual distinction of being both ignorant and opinionated. We've been blessed with some truly outstanding professors. Barty set the standard so high from the beginning. We realized right at the start that the faculty and administration had put a lot of heart and soul into this program, and we would have to be at our very best in order to do justice to the opportunity that had been given to us. Ilka unlocked the other half of our brain, first with marketing, then inside residency. His insights and enthusiasm were so contagious, and it's no doubt that we've invited him back here one more time to speak to us today. Doug McCain's high-speed deliverable was the gift that kept on giving. Some of us continue to have nightmares to this day. We all sat in admiration as he called up those students who received the top papers, Michelle, and Checo, and Andre, and Ajay, as they received their recognition. Professor McCabe said they could sell one of those high-speed deliverables for $25,000. He grossly underestimated what an IEMBA 11 would offer. Paul and Elaine converted us into rogue strategists. They helped us understand what Michael Porter really meant, and they created a five forces monster out of our beloved training. Elaine's business planning residency resulted in 2 new companies and a baby named Liam. Scott East and Eric Kessler and Lee Bodner have taken the leap to make Insights and Legacy Social Investment Advisors a reality. I've noticed you can find Scott's website on the back of the program. We wish these companies and other companies such as Five Wireless and Latista well, and we look forward to watching them rise in leading firms. We hope that someday we can all be successful enough to be included as one of Eric Lee's clients. Perhaps the most sobering moment in the program was that Black Friday, when Dean Agarwal held up our analyst report as an example of how not to do this project. The technicality in the syllabus allowed us to throw out the grade on that draft report, but we heard the wake-up call. Mark and Dave are still working to get that whack below 12. We learned not only operations, but vision from COSRA, and for that, we're truly grateful. Ricardo always kept us guessing, and Christine is still reeling from Jeff Mocker's real-life application of sunk cost principle. Lamar, Brooks, and Bob Dees helped us to understand the human side side of the business. And Dr. Jim opened our eyes to the world of international finance. Professors, on behalf of the IEMBA 10 class, we would like to offer you our warm thanks and sincere appreciation for the indelible imprint you've left on our lives. You are world-class experts in your field and truly superb individuals, and we're forever in your debt. Thank you. Without the administration. We're grateful to Lisa for accepting our resumes at face value during the application process, and for always striving to increase the quality and reputation of Georgetown. George developed a rigorous curriculum and was gracious enough to work with us in the selective process. Annette, Heidi, and Allison were truly our shepherds in this program, and believe me, they had to redirect a few of us grazing on the far side of the hill from time to time. There's nothing they didn't think of before we knew we needed it, nothing they couldn't find out when we had to know it, and nothing they couldn't fix when we got ourselves all tangled up. Lisa and the IEMBA administration team, thank you so much for your constant guidance and support in helping to make this program that much more worth it. While the administration and our professors have been so integral to our success in this program, for many of us, the individuals that have made our ability to succeed in this program so great has been our spouses. They shared with us in the initial commitment to apply to business school. They celebrated with us when we got inducted into Georgetown. They've suffered with us through grueling nights and hard work. They took care of so many aspects of the rest of our lives so that we can concentrate on not just getting through, but getting the most out of this program. To my incredible wife, Tammy, and to the wives of my friends, such as Holly and Katie, and Jen and Erica, and to the husbands who had to learn how to take care of themselves on the weekends, Brian, Muhammad, Pierre. To all the husbands and wives and significant others of my classmates, we love you and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Many of us have children here today. Their lives have been impacted by our decision to come to Georgetown. They've had to see a lot less of us on Friday and Saturday nights, times when they expect to be together. They've had to endure our alter egos on Thursday nights when we realize we haven't quite followed our week study schedule. Chekhov's deliverable matrix is staring us in the face. Yet they still had the wherewithal to give us encouragement and love and laughter when we needed it most. We've done this to help make a difference in your lives. We've done this so your futures can be bright, and we love you with all of our hearts. Thank you very much. So many of our parents and grandparents and relatives are here today to celebrate with us. You've impacted our lives in so many ways. We've watched you run companies, manage households, serve the public. You've instilled in us a work ethic and it helped us to live our lives with integrity. You still remind us how proud you are of us and our accomplishments and how much you believe in what we do. We'll do everything we can to do justice to the faith that you've placed in us. We'll try to instill in our own children some half of what you've instilled in us. We love you so much and respect you more than you'll ever know. Thank you very much. When I talk to people about my experience in the IEMBA program, there's one thing I always hone in on. Sure, I boast about the professors, the international residencies, the breakfast burritos. I gloss right over the occasional Dalton, the paper towel prices in the men's room, and the occasional raw chicken. But I can't leave an IEMBA conversation without paying tribute to the magic between classmates. I had heard horror stories about graduate schools, cutthroat competition between overachievers, students graduating with ulcers and complexes. But what we have experienced here has been truly remarkable. Half of what we've learned in this program has been from our classmates, their experiences, cultures, and observations, except for accounting, in which 95% of what we learned was from Jan. The perspectives that each of you brought to the classroom truly put this program on another level. But more important was the willingness to support one another. Each of us had had accentuating circumstances, international travel, major career changes, the loss of a few people's parents, and the sleepless joy of new babies. And time again, teammates would go above and beyond any reasonable expectation to help summarize readings, prepare for cases, study for finals, all at the expense of their own preparation. It was truly inspiring and very heartwarming, and the standard by which I will hold all of the groups that I participated in. Our time here together has resulted in new perspectives, a few new business ventures together, and lifelong friendships. I know our relationship won't end after 2 Bare Feet's closing set tomorrow afternoon. We'll be in each other's lives for many years to come. I want to tell you how grateful I am for the impact you've had on my life, not the least of which was encouraging me to leave my unhealthy employment situation and hang up my own shingles. Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear the stories of how we help each other to achieve greatness in the future. Many of our professors shared profound thoughts with us through the course of the program, and it was hard for me to choose just one to close on. I decided on one that continues to resonate with me since we first heard it a few weeks ago from none other than Bardia. He challenged us to create opportunities for others throughout the course of our careers and in what we do in our everyday lives. He further showed us how we can impact the lives of others when he led us to 2 orphanages in Mexico that we sponsored. There are many people in the world, in our country, in our own neighborhoods that need an opportunity to support themselves and their family, to realize their own potential, and to contribute to the greater good. Helping others to gain opportunities doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Small things we do in our everyday lives can make a large difference. Helping a young person to realize their first success can impact them positively from that day forward. During the Great Depression, there was a young boy who had his eyes set on a new bike, in a time when new bikes were all but impossible to come by. After entering a newspaper selling contest, he would follow people home from the local newsstand in the snow and the rain and convince them that he could buy their newspapers for them and bring them to their door without them ever having to get cold or wet. In an era when money was scarce, enough people believed in this young boy and his big idea to give him a few cents and realize his dream, and he got that bike. He later fought in World War II and joined the United Nations in Yugoslavia, where he learned that a global understanding is very important. He entered Georgetown, graduated in 1949. Like many of us, he entered Georgetown with a wife and young son. He worked as a security guard at the Capitol building to pay his tuition. He went on to become an oils executive, and when he had reached the pinnacle of the oil industry, he moved his family from Texas to Aliso Viejo, California, and opened a temporary staffing company called Remedy Inc. That company now has 230 offices throughout the United States. They do over $500 million in revenue, and they have contributed to several 100,000 people looking for employment opportunities. It's a crowning success on a distinguished career that all began when a few people gave a young boy the opportunity to realize the reward of hard work. That boy was Robert Emmett McDonough, after whom our business school is named. Next time, a couple of the kids from the neighborhood come and knock on your door to cut your grass, give them a chance. When some student painters cold call you to spruce up your siding, give them an opportunity. Allow that eager intern to contribute in a positive way to an important project in the firm, and allow that Bulgarian company to realize what their programmers can do. Congratulations on your graduation, and thank you so much for the opportunity to speak before you once again. Tough decision we had to select amongst all of our outstanding faculty. And we chose a man with whom we've spent a great portion of this program and some very memorable experiences. He's taught us in 2 courses in marketing and international market development, and he led us on what was arguably the greatest trip of our lives to the China residency. It is without further ado that I offer you Will Garong-Timer.
Father Burrows, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, dear attendants. In 1992-1993, when the deliberations for a new executive MBA program were going on, there was never any doubt amongst those of us around the table that one of the leading themes for this program was going to be international, was to be one of our signatures. Hence the I in the IEMBA. This was about to be more than a unique toolkit one needs to operate across borders. Most of all, the global environment today demands heightened attention to the very basics of business skills. So allow me to talk about 5 ideas or principles about careers and maybe even about life. The first idea is to learn from other cultures. When John Wheeler gave his inaugural speech as the first president of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in 1912, he stated, "If you think you can be successful just by sending salesmen to Japan and China, just as you would send them to Montana or Chicago, you are mistaken. You must send people who live there to learn the culture, to learn the language, to learn the way of doing business there." As future global leaders, think about the more rewarding approach by adopting and adapting the best from each culture. Sometimes we're so passionate about our ideals that we want the whole world to accept our ideals, and we feel some obligation to have all countries adopt our form of democracy, to accept our concept of human rights, to accept our rule of law, and most of all, do it right now. We probably do it out of a sense of a good purpose, but when we think that ours are the best way for all cultures, we automatically forego the possibility of learning that other social and economic systems may have equal validity. The Chinese leader who opened up that country 25 years ago, Deng Xiaoping, stated, "It really doesn't matter if the cat is black or white, as long as it helps to improve our country." The second point may sound a little contradictory to the first, but it really isn't. We need to be very conscious about our own personal values. Some of you may remember a movie called Bruce Almighty. In that movie, a whiny TV reporter played by Jim Carrey rails at God for his lot in life. God, played by Morgan Freeman, decides to give Bruce all his powers to see if he could wield them better. Needless to say, almighty powers do not make Bruce any happier or more successful. And when he comes back to ask why, God replies, "It's not our abilities that define us, it's our choices." In this case, wisdom came from on high, but in everyday situations, wisdom knows no rank. And it usually doesn't happen with big issues. If you're offered $1 million bribe on a project in an emerging country, that's a no-brainer. But on a daily basis, the choices are often in gray areas where it's not so clear, and the decision may seem unimportant. But the cost of small compromises in your values is cumulative, and it can come at a big cost to your effectiveness as a leader. It is my observation that individuals who have strong personal values have the most freedom and perspective to learn from other cultures. The third point is leadership, and I urge you to take any opportunity to experience leadership. Many times, the worst place to experience leadership is corporate headquarters. You are probably better off by taking a job in the field where you have measurable accountability for the results of your operation. I cannot but help think of one of our project sponsors, David Foley, who is now in charge of Harley-Davidson China. He is the company in China. Country manager, secretary, lobbyist, cook, and a half a dozen other designations all in one. There's another leadership challenge I would like to charge you with. Instead of open markets and free trade, we encounter a hodgepodge of standards and import barriers and policies in general to protect local industries and limit foreign investment. What is it that we can do? First of all, we can help up by stepping up our participation in trade organizations and standards committees. Maybe more important, we have got a big job ahead of us to counter the rhetoric of those who advocate sealing our borders and who fail to recognize that today's markets are truly global. We have to educate our political leaders as well as our own people in the communities where we live. We have to get our leaders to push ahead despite the frustrations we and they inevitably encounter on the way. Which leads me to my fourth point, perseverance. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe said, "In the realm of ideas, everything depends on enthusiasm. In the real world, all rests on perseverance." But then again, look who I'm talking to. As any survivor of 22 courses and 4 residencies may attest, many times making that final effort when you feel mentally and physically exhausted will be just enough to put you across that finish line. Armed with new experiences from your overseas residencies and maybe in the future from your expat tours, you might see many things that need to be changed. Your enthusiasm may not be matched by people opposed to change, and they will persuasively deny it is necessary.
But on behalf of the IEMBA 10th class and the IEMBA program, I would like to thank you for all you've done. Thank you. In keeping with the traditions started by the first IEMBA graduating class, the class of 2005 would like to recognize a member of the IEMBA faculty by presenting an award for excellence in teaching. Here to present the award to this year's recipient is Michelle Lee, graduating with a 4.0 in the class of 2005.
Ботаник.
Dean Abdullah, Dean Kaminsky, distinguished professors, fellow students, friends, and my dear family. Thank you for giving me this great privilege and honor of presenting this year's Outstanding Teacher Award. First, let me say a few words. Congratulations, class! I After 20 months of hard work and sweat, last weekend, and many sleepless nights, we finally made it! 20 months ago, I thought this was going to be fun. I never dreamed it's going to be this much fun. Today, we here celebrate our graduation, but it's a true celebration to our friends and families, to whom we owe our success, to whom we owe everything. For 2 months, we have impressed upon us the importance to our study of dedication and hard work. But it's your love, your sacrifice, your support, and your tolerance made it all possible for us to finish this program. Teacher Award. Ladies and gentlemen, with great privilege and honor, I, representing the IEMBA 10 class, place before you the name of a great professor whom we all love, Professor Paul Almeida.
notes, I have to take them home to my wife and tell her that I'm a devoted husband. She won't believe me, but I just gotta tell her. But really, the thanks to you. It was really my privilege and honor, and I'm sure my faculty colleagues will agree with me, to be a part of Georgetown with you these past 2 years. I want to say just one more thing. This is really about community, as I see us all sitting here. Obviously, the faculty, Jeff, who's my partner in crime and technology strategy, Terry Young, who started this course off with me, all the people who actually started the program, many of them sitting here 10 years ago. This is 10 years of a great program, one of the leading programs in not just the university, but in the world, and took the administration and faculty together to create it. And 10 years is evidence of something wonderful. And I think we have to congratulate this segment of the community.
Congratulations, Paul. Our next speaker is in a unique position of being a respected scholar, a great teacher, a superior researcher, and the Dean of the McDonough School of Business, all at the same time. Dr. Agarwal has been a member of this faculty since 1986, and her expertise is in the area of initial public offerings, international stock markets, and market microstructure. Way out of the market. She has authored numerous articles on initial public offerings around the world, in emerging markets, and the functioning of stock exchange. Rena can often be heard on local and international radio and television stations, and her research has been cited in the Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, and a few other minor publications like that. Like our IEMBAs, Dean Agarwal has developed an uncanny ability to juggle many competing priorities and do all of them quite well.
Thank you, Lisa. Paul, congratulations again. It's a pleasure and indeed an honor to be afforded the opportunity to speak with you on such an exciting day. I would also like to welcome the spouses, the children, and other family members. You were the support group for our students, and I especially like the children. I'm thinking of them as future lawyers. All of you, through your support, have also demonstrated your commitment to the McDonough School of Business. This graduation not only means a great deal to you, but it also means a great deal to us, the school, the university.
Thanks, Rena. At this time, we would like to recognize 10 students who have graduated in the top 20% of their class and who have performed with academic distinction during the IEMBA program. In May, these students will be inducted into Beta Gamma Sigma, the International Honor Society of Business Schools. Will the following inductees of Beta Gamma Sigma please stand and be recognized? Let's hold our applause until I've read all the names. Daniel V. Burkham, Scott Allen East, Ajay K. Gupta, David Kenneth Hardwick, Michelle Lee, Tyler Moynihan, Todd Wayne Palmer, George Salemi, Shani Lynn Vines, Mark J. Wagner. We present to you the future members of the Beta Gamma Sigma Honor Society. Well done. Please be seated. Associate Dean Schaefer will now present the candidates.
Dean Agarwal, as Associate Dean of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates for the degree of Master of Business Administration. Will the candidates for the Master of Business Administration please rise? These candidates have been duly examined and recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Directors. I therefore ask that you bestow upon these students the degrees in course. I will now ask Assistant Dean Kamensky, Director of the International Executive MBA Program, to call forth the individual candidates.
The first row, please come forward to receive your diplomas. And let's Daniel B. Burkham. Lee L. Bodner. Jennifer Claire Butcher. Jeffrey W. Bowling. Richard Oliver Butcher II. Christopher P. Checo. Rodney G. Coleman. Christine Kearney Cox. Scott Allen East. Melanie Durkin El Sabawi. Jason Mark Edwards. Michael J. Johnson. Brian Frederick Cadman. Eric Joseph Kessler. Andre Lava.
Woo!
Какие ты готовы не
Michelle Lee. Fabrice C. Martin. Julie N. McCombs. James Patrick Morrissey. Tyler Moynihan. Mir Muhammad. Srini Nilabedi. Adriana Nino. Obina Anthony Ohana D. Opesh. Todd Wayne Palmer. Hong Thi Pham. Brenda D. Quiroz Made. Christopher D. Ramsey. Erica Rhodes. David M. Brooke, Jr. George Travis Marion Smith. Igor Starfeld. John H. Stroud. Shani Lynn Vines.
President and Board of Directors of Georgetown University, I officially confer upon the aforementioned candidates the degree of Master of Business Administration. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present to you the graduates of the 2005 Georgetown University International Executive MBA program. Congratulations. and friends of the members of the class of 2005, please rise and be recognized. I would also like to recognize our hardworking and enthusiastic IEMBA staff and faculty who have contributed greatly to the success of the IEMBA program. Would the IEMBA administration and faculty of the McDonough School of Business please rise and be recognized. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon and to congratulate our graduates once more. We wish you well in your future endeavors and welcome you as members of the Georgetown IEMBA alumni family. Please rise and join us in singing the alma mater and remain standing while Father Burrows offers the benediction. The words to the alma mater appear on the last page of the program.
As this celebration draws to a close, we ask a special blessing on our graduates. May these business professionals be exemplars of ethical practice and principled decision-making. May they be wise leaders and supportive colleagues. May those whom they employ find in them integrity, honesty, and generosity. May their engagement with diverse peoples help our business community and our country grow more sensitive to the richness of other cultures, economies, communities, and religions. May the education our graduates received truly help them to transform our world into a place of justice and compassion. May the friendships they have made and networks they have developed continue to sustain them and their work in the years ahead. And finally, loving God, may you bless these graduates with courage to claim their values and with wisdom to apply them.